We're back from Brothers from Inglewood podcast. Once again, coming to you live and direct with my co-host Charlie Mack. I'm Hoopie. It's a pleasure to be here once again in the studio to chop it up. Before I introduce the topic, I want to throw it to Charlie Mack. Let him holler at you.
We back, guys, for another daily dose or weekly dose of what we do. We only keep it 100 here.
Yes, sir.
So y'all kick back, get ready. Before we start, we don't own the rights to this music, but we sure gonna groove to it.
No question.
Put them seatbelts on. Hold on tight. We about to get it going.
Well said, bro. It's really interesting how we, sat down and just kind of, brainstormed on some things that we could present today, and how ironic this subject is because it's relatable, and I think it's going to create some traction.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to the dialogue. I just want to say thanks. I'll do this at the end of our program as well, but I always want to acknowledge the Coalesce Group for the wonderful job that they're doing in the academic community, especially the youth of America, which are so important to our future. And we want to say thank you for being our sponsor, to our team of administrators that have allowed us to attach our name to your brand. We just want to say thank you so much. And to Fruit of the Vine, clothing apparel, created none other than Chris Camille, who has produced something for kids and women. And we want to say thank you for allowing us to be a partner with you in that endeavor. And so, without further ado, the topic that we'll discuss today is, what is your greatest fear? What is your greatest fear? And I know that this is going to generate a serious buzz because we all have some form of fear that we're concerned with. So I'm going to throw it to you, and, we can go from there.
That's crazy that you say, what's your greatest fear? Because, we all have our different fears and our different things that we think about day to day. And for me, it's funny that you asked that because it didn't start happening to me until probably a couple of years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, where I start really thinking, like, the older that I'm getting, I really start to think about longevity in terms of being around.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, I don't know if it's just me or if it's maybe everybody out there that's within my age range, but I really think about, am I going to be around when I'm in my 70s or if I'm in my 60s?
So does that coordinate with death? Is it the fear of death?
It's not. It's not the fear of death, because that's not what I'm afraid of. Because sleep is the cousin of death.
Yeah, but you said not being around.
Well, what I'm saying is, let me elaborate. When I say not being around, you're right. Right. Yes, death, but not a fear of death. Just a fear of not being around for. Okay, for example, for you, your kids are much younger than mine.
Yeah.
And one day you want to be able to walk your daughter down the aisle. You want to be a grandfather. You want to watch your sons graduate college and do all those things that we did when we were in, Yeah. So that's my fear of not being able to be
participate.
around. And that I think about it. And I don't want to really call it fear. I guess it is in a sense, but I really think about like my health. I really do, man. I mean, I'm trying to do everything now to make sure that that I'm healthy. I try to eat right. I try to exercise. I try to do everything in my possible means that I can to make sure that I don't overindulge.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, that's
So-
one of my fears.
Okay. Because I mean, when I hear that, I'm thinking in terms also that you have a sense of what can be a preventative as it relates for you to be able to walk your daughter down the aisle or be able to be active physically or whatever that entails. Your whole concern is pretty much like, I want to be able to be involved. I want to participate. I think my fear, one of my greatest fears, or I'll just say, since we're talking about the greatest fear, is not leaving a legacy for my children.
Okay.
I think, and I know a lot of people probably be like, well, that's nothing to be afraid of.
Right.
But I think to pass on, and my children have no tangible or no memorable thing that they can attach to me.
Right.
That creates like pressure for me. Meaning, like, everything that I do, I try to make it count.
Right.
Because I want to be able to have some type of impression on my seeds.
Right.
And whether we do it positively or not, it's going to be an impression.
Right.
One way or another. Somebody may feel like, I couldn't stand that dude. He was this, he was that.
Yeah.
So I think my greatest fear is being non-productive.
Along with what I was saying, I don't really worry about the non-productive part. Like I said, I'm telling you, man, in the last couple of years, nothing else matters in my life than to make sure that I live a stress-free life.
Mm-hmm.
That I all the unnecessary drama that people take on in their life, it's unnecessary. I don't do it. I don't do drama. I don't do stress. I just don't do it, because those are things that will take you out of here. Those are things that will raise your blood pressure. Those are the things that will cause you to become sick.
Okay.
So if you have anybody in your life that's causing you that type of stress and that type of drama and anything like that, especially at our age,
Yeah.
you need to remove yourself from that.
Yeah.
And I think about that, and another thing I think about too is, you have to understand the path that we chose earlier on in our lives, back when we were in our 20s and late 20s. We didn't think about it back then, but it's affecting us now in terms of us becoming seniors and us retiring, in terms of we didn't leave, like a lot of people our age, they don't have a retirement. They don't have something to fall back on.
Yeah.
Some do and some don't.
Yeah.
Me and you, the paths that we chose to be entrepreneurs and to make our own way in our life and to create our own path. Along with that, when we started as young men, we didn't have the insight to think about, okay, damn, let me set myself up for when I'm 65 or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's another fear that I have, is like, man, what is my life going to look like at 65? That's what I think about a lot.
Stability-wise.
And listen, that's what you need to be thinking about. Like, okay, what is our lives are going to look like at 65? You got people out there that's been working, like I was telling you about Buck earlier. Buck's been on his job 31 years.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, he's going to be okay in terms of once he stops working or whatever, he's going to be okay. So I think about that too. What is my life going to look like at 65?
Okay. So,
That's a fear.
I think it's
You don't
fear.
think about that?
I do.
mean, you in the
do,
same position I am.
I think about that all the time.
I mean,
do.
we in the boat. We're in the same car.
But I've actually put together a comprehensive, and God may laugh at my plan, but I put together a comprehensive plan of action that I've taken. I've already started the process to say, if I'm able to do these things, this should help me. Nothing is guaranteed.
No, it's
because
not.
as I'm planning, anything could happen in between the plan. So let me ask this question: where did your fear originate?
As I got older, I started looking at life more. You know, when we're young and we're in our 20s and our 30s, you know, we think that we're mature and we think we know it all. We don't know nothing. We don't. These youngsters and these millennials, a lot of them, they don't look down the road at 55 and all this stuff. Yeah. And one thing about Mom, she used to always tell us, you know, she said, look, don't look up and you 50. Yeah. Don't look up and you 40. Yeah. And that was her way of saying, you know, y'all need to get your stuff together in terms of, you know, really. So
be responsible.
Mine really started, like I said, when I was maybe 5-6 years ago. I started really looking at, you know, how I wanted to be when I get a certain age. And I started looking at all the older people that was around me and saying, man, you know, I envy them and you know, they're gonna be okay or whatever. And I think that's when it all started about 5 years ago. Like, man, you know, and I started really, really pondering it. And I ponder it every day I wake up. I think about it. And that's why I work so hard to be stable and to be financially secure. Because, man, I'm telling you, I think about my future.
Okay.
If God let me
important.
live, you know, to 70, 75, I think about my future.
That's important.
Because my future ain't guaranteed. Nobody's future is guaranteed. Yeah. But at least people have, you know, set steps and goals to where, okay, when I turn 65, I'll be able to retire. I got my 401k coming. I got my pension coming. We don't have that.
No.
And a lot of people out there looking, they don't have it. Yeah. A lot of people do, and a lot of people don't. Yeah. You know, I was friends with a guy who, he worked for a company for almost 40 years. The guy stole all, it was for, what's the airlines?
American?
It wasn't American. It was it was the airlines that was there, but it's not there anymore. But anyway,
America West?
It was back in the
TRW.
It was Continental. It was Continental Airlines. This dude worked for that company for 40 years. The owner of Continental Airlines stole all the workers' money.
I meant to say TWA.
He stole all their money.
Did he?
All their retirement. All of it. So they had nothing.
Wow.
And the only thing he got was a slap on the wrist, and they said, well, you could never own an airlines again. But he took all their retirement. Yeah.
So that's like Madoff. You know,
same thing.
Took everybody's retirement.
Yeah, same thing. You know, so you have to think about that. You know what I mean? And then another thing too, as we're getting older, I mean, dude, you wake up some mornings, man, you're like, where'd that come from? Yeah. Did I sleep wrong? Or, you know, so then you start thinking like, well, damn, am I getting sick?
Right.
You know, we look good on the outside in the shell, and you know, we don't look our age or nothing like that. But at the end of the day, I think about that stuff.
So your fear of not having a sustainable future is in front of you.
Let me tell you something. Long as God let me stay healthy, I'm gonna be all right financially. But I just want to be healthy. And that way, if you stay healthy, then you can attain all that stuff. Yeah, all that stuff will come into play. It'll work itself out. But my fear is let me stay as healthy as I can.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, and a lot of that is choice. It's decisions that we need to make.
Right.
So that's why I say choice. I mean, some people, unfortunately, they've gotten to a place where they're not as physically healthy to make better choices now. But there's always alternatives. The other question is, have you ever shared these fears with anyone?
There's friends of mine and colleagues of mine who I've talked to, especially people that's my age. Matter of fact, me and Buck, we talk about it all the time.
Okay.
We had lunch this past weekend, and me and him was talking about it. He was, he has we was talking about it. So I've shared it, and it's good to share that with someone else, especially someone that's your age or around about your age. That way, they can get whatever it is off their chest and say, "Oh yeah, man, you're right." Yeah. Because we can't walk through life being nonchalant and like, "Oh, I'm Superman. Nothing's ever gonna happen to me." I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, we not spring chickens.
Yeah.
We may look like spring chickens, but you know
we're not.
We're
getting
not.
older.
Yeah. Getting older, nigga. We old. I told you I love that word. Nigga, we old, nigga.
I talked to a few people, and it creates also ideas in my own head when I think about my future and I think about how to get there, and then from a biblical sense of what I've learned and what I am learning, it's stated that we're supposed to live each day to the fullest,
like it's our last.
Like it's our last.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is not promised.
No.
And I think some people can take that. I'll just say in the religious circles, they can take it out of context, believing that technically or literally, tomorrow's not promised. I better go out here and buy all the Gucci that I can or whatever.
Yeah.
But in the sense is really helping me understand that the things that I do in life, in this natural life, it counts and it has a consequence and it also has a reward.
Yeah.
So like you said before, if I don't take care of my physical body, if I don't put the right things in it, if I don't exercise and do certain things, my body is going to eventually break down. I fear in the sense of the unknown, because I don't know the future.
Right. None of us do.
I think my greatest concern, because I'm going to say it again, in the religious circles, from the biblical sense, we're not even supposed to gravitate to fear.
Right.
Fear is, the Bible says that I have not given you the spirit of fear, but of love and of power. And as a believer, we're not supposed to embrace this emotion. It's a real emotion now, and I'm not downplaying that. It's just that we're supposed to combat it with confidence.
Right.
So, but in the human element and the aspect of my humanity, I think about not being around for my young people, not accomplishing things that I set out to do, like travel certain places and, and have a certain level of health.
Do you think about, let me ask you a question. Do you legitimately some days think about, like your health and am I going to be around? Do you think about that?
Yes.
Okay, the way that I didn't think that you did.
I think about that all the time because I know tomorrow's not promised.
Yeah.
And I don't have any idea of when I'm going to have to punch the clock, right?
None of us do.
So with that being said, I try to stay in tune with what I should do and what I want to get out of life, because I can't walk around in fear every day.
Yeah. You know what? Let me tell you something that's gonna blow the fans' minds and people that's watching. I've been watching, a little bit of the George Floyd thing.
Oh yeah.
And this is a trip, man. Everybody's watching, how the cop kneeled on his neck or whatever, and they're watching all this other stuff. You know what I was watching? This is what I was watching. Mm-hmm. I was watching the fact of the matter is that George Floyd was in that store and he was buying some cigarettes. Mm-hmm. And he didn't even know within 10 minutes he was going to be dead. We watched him.
Right.
We watched him. Right. And that goes to show what you're saying. We don't know when it's our time to punch the clock. This man was standing in the store at the counter buying cigarettes.
No idea.
Didn't even know that within 10 minutes or 15 minutes of his day that he would not even be here anymore. And that's the thing that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We all walk around here, and I don't, but a lot of people walk around so nonchalant and so cavalier and so brash, like they don't understand that, dude, you can be like that, And I think about that, and then all the friends, like in the last couple of years that we've lost, it really starts to make you think about your own mortality and things like that. Okay. You've done many, you've eulogized many people that we know. Yeah. So when you're up there standing in that pulpit eulogizing this person that whether it be your grandmother, your grandfather, or your brother, or your friend that we went to school with, how does that make you feel?
It really brings me into focus to understand that this is reality.
Yeah.
And my position is just a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because I'm still inhaling and exhaling.
Yeah.
But one day,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be across the front.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're gonna be decked out.
And it at times it feared me, right?
Right.
But over time, as I began to kind of learn and understand, not through experience, of course not, but get a better focus on, what this reality is, it helped me get better with it.
Okay.
You never get over it. You get past
Right.
it. So
you learn to deal with it.
So every situation is new.
Yeah.
Like, here we go again.
Yeah.
I'm asked to, speak well of someone, and I'm like, here we go again. I got the same feeling. I got the same uncomfortable. It's not easy.
Yeah.
People think because you might be a decent orator that it's good. You good with it.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
The other thing is, if you haven't already, I'm gonna ask you this question: how did you, or how do you overcome fear?
How do you overcome it? I think overcoming it, I'm gonna tell you what helps, and it's extremely cathartic to talk about it.
Okay.
You have to share, like how you said about 5 minutes ago. You have to share your feelings with other people. You have to get it off your chest.
Yeah.
You have to have some dialogue about it.
You do.
I have a therapist, and I talk to my therapist. Shout out to my therapist. She knows who she knows who she is. Shout out to the doctor.
Yeah.
But no, really,
A lot of us need a therapist.
I got one, and I talked to her, and she's extremely patient with me, and she's extremely intelligent. But I get off a lot of what's going on in my life.
Yeah.
I lay down on that couch.
I got
And
you.
get it off my chest.
Yeah.
That's cathartic.
Yeah.
That's the thing that we need to do in
Yeah.
order to get over
Yeah.
any kind of fear.
I got you.
You have to get it off your chest because it'll make you feel better.
I got you.
And shout out to all the my 70-year-olds out there, my 65 plus. Keep on living, keep on doing what you're doing. You guys made it this far. God bless you.
Yeah.
Because I'm at a point now where I admire and I really admire people that's a decade or two older than me.
Yeah.
Because I say to myself, like, man, I hope I get a chance to be 70 and 65 and so on and so forth. So you gotta shout them out, man.
No, you're right.
And I'm telling you,
Absolutely.
my life has changed from when I was in my 30s and in my 40s and me not thinking about that stuff. Now, man, I cherish life. I cherish day to day. I just, I appreciate it. I mean, I'm telling you, every morning I wake up, I thank God.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
That's
I thank God. Say, God, thank you for waking me up.
Yeah.
It's another day. Let's get it moving.
Yeah.
When I lay down, thank you, God, for keeping me safe all during the day. Because I'm telling you, man, you have to think about that stuff.
No,
when we're
you're
young,
right.
we don't think about it. We think we're invincible.
No, you're right. You're right. I think you answered my next two questions because number one, when you said you have to talk about it, you have to have dialogue and communication, like through therapy or through casual, confidential, conversations.
Yeah.
I think this is the problem with a lot of people. That's why we have suicides. That's
Exactly.
why we have depression.
Exactly.
Which we're going to talk about
Exactly.
in the future.
Exactly.
We're going to talk about that because people are not comfortable sharing their feelings.
Yeah.
And then, if the truth be told, man, you got some demonstrative people that talk about you, tell your business, embarrass you, and put you in a position to where you don't have that trust. You don't want to tell anybody anything else because your trust has been betrayed.
Yeah.
Like I was listening to, and this is not really off the subject, it's within the subject. I was listening to this, bander, this just, I don't even want to say it was a violent, banter or whatever, but I'm listening to KD and the Mike Rappaport thing.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like,
I think about that all the time.
And then I'm like, then you're gonna pull something out of the closet and throw out there to embarrass the guy, and now you guys are going. I was like, see, that's a lack of confidence.
Yeah.
This guy showed him confidence in a conversation.
Yeah.
He turns around and shows America what he said in the DM.
Yeah.
So I think that has a lot to do, especially with men, because we have egos.
Yeah, but then we have a guy that's 50, and then we got a young dude that's, 28, 29, Durant, maybe 30.
I think he might be 30.
Come on, dude.
He might be 30.
These come on, man. I look at it every single day on social media, these young people
30,
with all
32.
this financial wealth and all this, and they're back and forth. I just fast forward it. I'm like, really, you guys? Both of you guys are I mean, come on, man. Who everybody want to hear that nonsense?
Right.
It's nonsense. For me, when I see negative stuff like that or man, I got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get past that to be like, look, man, I don't even know when
Yeah.
My car no due. I ain't got time for that.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? We have real life problems. They don't. They got their. Don't get me wrong. They have their problems in life or whatever. But the biggest problem that society has as a whole, in terms of the working class, our problem, it's always financial.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that finances is gonna cure everything and gonna buy you happiness or whatever. They just don't know where to shop.
I got you.
That's all. But my thing in a nutshell is, man, you guys are wealthy, financially wealthy. You guys can take care of your families, your kids. What are you doing with this nonsense? Grow up.
Yeah.
Grow up.
No, you're right.
And that's to Michael Rappaport and to Durant. Because I follow Michael Rappaport, and he clowns everybody.
Yeah.
But be able to take it when it comes back to you. But I think Durant hit below the belt when he started talking about the man's wife or whatever, so it kind of got personal.
Yeah. The last thing is, which we sort of touched on it in a sense. What would you suggest to others about confronting their fears?
If anybody out there that's listening and watching, and you guys are having some problems with whatever fear it may be, whether it be a fear of confronting your boss, a fear of disciplining your kids, a fear of whatever it is, you gotta get it off your chest. Okay. You have to find someone that you can trust. You have to find a confidant, and you have to be able to have that dialogue. Okay. It helps. Yeah. It's cathartic.
Yeah. I was also thinking, and I'm piggybacking on what you just said, to do that thing, to go towards whatever that fear is. I believe the only way
confront the fear.
Yeah, the only way you're gonna overcome anything is to actually do it.
Yeah.
And normally failure breeds success. When you the saying they always said, if you don't succeed, try again. You know what I mean? So it's like I would suggest that you start dealing with that fear, and like you said, use communication. Bring in other resources, but get involved. Put yourself in the middle of it. Do it, and do it enough until you overcome it.
Yeah.
Some things happen supernaturally. Some people have just given up drugs without going through the process of the
rehab.
Yeah.
But it's like that thing we was gonna talk about. Have you ever lost your way? And so yeah, right. You're right. Yeah, some people can.
Yeah. Some people can. So great topic. I just wanted to add that at the end as it relates to conquering our fears, because we all have them, and it's just human nature, but we can get past them if we head towards them. So,
Right.
I'm gonna throw it to Charlie Mack, and once again, thanks to the Coalesce Group, thanks to Fruit Off the Vine, clothing apparel for kids and women. Thank you for tuning in. We're gonna ask that you would like, share, and subscribe. Or in the sense of just making sure that we can get this content to other people on this platform. We appreciate you, and just want to say thanks again. We'll give it to Charlie Mack, close us out.
In closing, audience, like I was saying, if any of you guys out there, you suffering from some sort of problem you may be going through, whether it be fear or whatever, just find somebody and holler at them. Don't keep it inside. Don't, because if you keep it inside, it's gonna eat you up.
Yeah.
So just find that special person, talk to them, get it off your chest. I guarantee you, once you release it, I guarantee you're gonna feel a whole lot better. So thank you guys for tuning in, and take the seatbelt off. Party stop. We good. Peace and love.
Peace.